Could the recent attack on Israel be the trigger for World War III? An ominous question that's been on everyone's mind. The tranquility of Majdal Shams, a quiet town in the Golan Heights, was shattered when a deadly rocket attack claimed the lives of 12 innocent children. This wasn't just your everyday act of aggression. This was a calculated move by Hezbollah, a move that has sent shockwaves around the world. The rocket that wreaked this havoc wasn't just any rocket. It bore the signature of Iran, a Falak 1, a devastating reminder of the complex geopolitical landscape of the Middle East. The flight path of the rocket, as revealed by the IDF, pointed to a troubling reality, the hand of Iran in this horrifying act. While the world was still grappling with the news of the attack, another chilling development emerged from the shadows. Hamas, another player in this intricate game of power, released videos of Israeli hostages being tortured. This was not just an act of terrorism, but a blatant intimidation tactic aimed at Israel. They sought to pressure Israel on the conditions of Palestinian prisoners, adding another layer of complexity to an already tense situation. In the wake of the attack, several organizations called for increased military action in the north. Defense Minister Gallant made a stern promise that Hezbollah would pay a heavy price for the incident. Prime Minister Netanyahu, cutting short his trip, returned to Israel to address the situation, signifying the gravity of the incident. As the dust of the attack settled, a grim reality dawned. The world waited with bated breath for the international reactions. The world's superpowers didn't remain silent. The reactions were swift and polarized. The United States, a stalwart ally of Israel, was quick to condemn the attack, echoing Israel's claims and backing their right to self-defense. The U.S. administration, under the leadership of Secretary of State Blinken, urged the international community to hold Iran and its proxies, including Hezbollah, accountable for the horrific incident. In a show of solidarity and determination, Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu cut short his overseas trip and returned home to directly address the situation. His message was clear: Israel was prepared to defend its people and its sovereignty. On the other side of the border, Lebanese officials, while acknowledging the gravity of the situation, called for restraint. They warned against further conflict, stressing the urgency of dialogue over destruction. The Lebanese government's plea for peace was a stark contrast to the escalating tensions and the growing fear of an all-out war. In the midst of this tension, Secretary of State Blinken expressed a strong desire to prevent escalation after the attack. His diplomatic stance reflected the US's commitment to peace and stability in the region. However, with the stakes so high, the path to de-escalation seemed fraught with challenges. As the situation unfolded, the international community held its collective breath. The stage was set for a potential escalation. Israel was ready to respond, and the world watched anxiously. In the aftermath of the attack, the threat of escalation loomed ominously over the region. Israel, having suffered a devastating blow, issued an ultimatum to Hezbollah, the group they held responsible for the incident. With a vow to defend their homeland, Israel's top leaders promised to make Hezbollah pay a heavy price for their actions. In response, Israel conducted a series of airstrikes on Hezbollah targets within Lebanon, marking a significant escalation in this ongoing conflict. The actions were not taken lightly. Hezbollah, anticipating an escalation from Israel, went on high alert, clearing key sites and bracing for the possibility of a full-scale war. This situation is a chilling reminder of the destructive potential of such conflicts. As fears of a larger war loom large, the stakes have never been higher. The balance of peace in the region, and indeed the world, hangs in the balance. Security Council Resolution 1701, which mandates Hezbollah's withdrawal from southern Lebanon, has emerged as a crucial diplomatic tool in this crisis. The resolution, adopted in the aftermath of the 2006 Lebanon War, was designed to prevent further conflict between Israel and Lebanon. Its importance in the current situation cannot be overstated. However, despite the resolution's existence, its enforcement remains a challenge. The international community watches with bated breath as events unfold. The hope is that diplomatic efforts can prevent a further escalation of violence and bring about a peaceful resolution. As tensions rise, the balance of peace teeters on the edge. The question remains, could this be the trigger for World War III? As we look at the escalating tensions in the region, the role of diplomacy becomes more crucial than ever. In the midst of this crisis, the international community faces an uphill battle. The United Nations, the European Union, the United States, and other major powers are being called upon to intervene and mediate the situation. The goal? is to enforce Security Council Resolution 1701, which mandates Hezbollah's withdrawal from southern Lebanon and prevent further escalation of violence. The resolution, however, is not without its challenges. Its implementation requires cooperation from all parties involved, including Hezbollah and Israel. Mediation efforts are delicate and complex, with each party having its own interests and demands. The stakes are high, and every decision could tip the balance towards peace or push the region further into conflict. Diplomacy in this case is not just about negotiation. It's about understanding the deep-seated issues that fuel this conflict and finding a way to address them. It's about creating a path towards peace and stability, one that respects the sovereignty and security of all nations involved. The world watches, hoping for a peaceful resolution, even as the possibility of a full-scale war looms. This is a test for diplomacy and the international community's ability to prevent the spark of conflict from igniting into a global firestorm. As we continue to monitor the situation, we remind you to stay informed, stay vigilant, and most importantly, stay hopeful for peace. Up next, we bring you the end sting to wrap up our coverage on this critical issue.